Hello, hello, Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is TransurfingTV. And today on TransurfingTV, we are going to go over one of the Hacking the Technogenic System Cliff Note lessons. Today, Chapter 20, If You Love Me, You Will Eat. I am sure that there's going to be more food stuff in here. And I know you probably saw my little wince when I said that. I know the last video that I did on chapter 19, I believe it was, I went into a little rant at the end of it, kind of declaring that some of this knowledge wasn't really sitting well with me, kind of rubbing me the wrong way. And, you know, it is. And I have had a little time to think about it. And I have come to the conclusion that the reason why I do not like certain parts of this book, and I at times almost seem like a little bit, you know, I don't want to say talking bad about it. I'm not talking bad about it. There's definitely benefit to be had in these lessons. But there are certain elements of this knowledge that I do feel is kind of like venturing into a space where we shouldn't really venture into as transurfers. I feel that even with the International Transurfing Institute and TransurfingTV and me and, you know, this little community that we've created, we already sort of go towards some lines that transurfing draws in the sand, right? It's a pendulum. I'm the first to admit it. It is a pendulum. And there are, you know, a lot of times that people call me out and they're like, oh, Renee, you're just creating a pendulum with transurfing and blah, blah, blah. And it's true, right? But for me, first of all, I feel that my intentions are pretty clear. I want people to have the support and access to support and community that I didn't have when I started reading transurfing and there was virtually no resources online, right? Now, in order for me to facilitate this, I do have to venture into some gray areas with the transurfing knowledge, right? Creating a pendulum, and a lot of people have thrown the word cult around and all that kind of stuff. And that's just kind of like the price I have to pay in order to facilitate this progress in this movement. That is my intention, right? But there are certain things where I absolutely draw the line. And in some of these teachings, I kind of feel as though Vadim is venturing into that territory, especially with the diet thing. So there are a few parts of these teachings in Hacking the Technogenic System that I feel as though it's more system than is necessary, right? So I've already spoken about ITI being a structure and a system and a pendulum and TransurfingTV and me. And then when Vadim starts to propose that if you eat live food, you'll be an elitist and pitch more structure and why adhering to things that are working for him will work, if you adhere to them, they'll work for you. And this, to me, is like danger zone with cultish behavior. And I'll just call it out. I see this stuff and I just want you to know that my intention here is that you remain an individual with the ability to critically think for yourself and take or leave anything and not adhere to any standards created by any pendulums for any reason that do not work for you as an individual. And the whole raw food thing definitely touches on some stuff that I am absolutely not comfortable with. And I feel as though my separation from Vadim Zeland, initiated by me, right? Initiated by me. This is me standing firm and holding myself to the exact things that I am extending to you all. Question everything. Do not adhere to standards set forth by pendulums if they do not work for you. Period. And hacking the technogenic system, for me, my feathers get a little bit ruffled, some red flags go up just a little bit, and I feel as though the knowledge is venturing into the territory of cultish-like ideas of, okay, so now if you do this, you'll be like this, and we don't need it, right? Remain an individual, take what you need, leave what you don't, and always critically think for yourself. So with that, I will get started. I know that was a little bit of a long rant, but I just want to throw that out there. And yeah, all that jazz. Oh, these are some juicy topics, right? So before I get into this, remember to like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, join us on the International Transurfing Institute Pendulum Facebook group. Buy our pendulum shirts and oh boy, I'm cracking myself up. Everything that you may possibly need to help you in your evolution with reality transurfing, links below. But you can do it for yourself, right? You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to adhere to any standards. You can read the book. You can watch the videos. You can practically apply this stuff on your own and learn it for yourself. This is the most powerful way for you to create your own reality. So with that, I will get started. Chapter 20, if you love me, you will eat. Question, I don't know what to do. I want to switch to a natural diet. Oh my God. I'm getting really tired of this diet stuff, you guys, because I think it's the best option for me, but I live with my husband who does not agree with me on this. He says that I am an extremist and selfish and only think of myself. Although I do not impose anything on him because he eats what he wants. Nevertheless, he forces me to eat what he wants. He always says to me, if you love me, then eat. He thinks that it is necessary to have both good and bad in our life. Therefore, he wants me to eat cooked food and drink alcohol so that my body may know how to resist all diseases. He says that if I only eat uncooked food, my body will be weaker and fall prey to all kinds of diseases. My husband's food does not please me at all, but I am compelled to conceal everything in me. He says, how do you know what your body wants? This thing is known only by doctors because they learned it, and man did not invent medicine in vain. It is also necessary for a person to take pills. One day he said to me, you must choose between me and raw food. If you want to eat only raw food, then let's break up, because I don't want to live with a stupid person like you. This is Vadim Zeland's answer. I don't have any advice for this situation because it is better not to advise about family relationships from my personal perspective. But have you noticed the fact that your differences with your husband are far from food issues? There is a story mentioned in the Butenko family's pocketbook on making raw meals. According to Sergei Butenko, a woman named Fendi said at the end of his culinary arts course that she intended to separate from her husband because he could not stand to hear anything about raw food. Although she turned to raw food only a month ago, she became tired of trying to convince her husband, certain that all attempts to persuade him would fail. A year ago, I received an email from Fendi's ex-husband, Peter, telling me in the letter that he had broken up with Fendi, engaged with another woman, and that he was now switching to the raw food diet. Peter was delighted with the uncooked food and said at the end of the letter that Fendi had stopped eating raw food. The reader can find the aforementioned book on this website. We're not going to include a link. He will summarize the rest of the chapter. We will summarize the rest of the chapter through the following points. How can we convince children to switch to a natural diet? It is not easy to explain to them why they were eating this before and now they should switch to eat something else. Explain the situation to them exactly as you understand it, because children understand many situations perhaps better than you. But kids shouldn't become addicted to supermarket meals. Unfortunately, ready-made meals are very appealing and can become almost addictive, so there is little chance for natural food to come to mind. It is not easy for a person to avoid the influence of relatives and the aggressive influence of friends, but we should forget about the compulsion when it comes to food. The best thing you can do in this area is to provide your personal experience as a positive example and nothing more. Forcing conflict with family and relatives will not lead to a good outcome. However, the opposite is also true, and the situation will get even worse. 2. Valia Butenko related this story. I think it's relayed this story. They were at a party where she was sitting with her friends eating fruit salad. A girl sat next to her who was known to have issues. The girl told her to look at the pizza that she had, which was not the same as Valia's fruit salad because rabbits do not eat pizza. Valia replied that if she wanted it, she would have pizza. The girl assented and then asked Valia why. Valia replied that if the girl really wanted to know why she didn't want pizza, it was because it was made of genetically modified wheat flour, and that they spray such toxic pesticides on the wheat that the farmers have to wear masks and special clothes to protect them from the chemicals. The cheese on the pizza is cheese that is several years older than her, is probably expired, and looks like it was taken from the army storehouse. As for the tomatoes, they are picked while they are still green and then stored in refrigerators and later forced to turn red with ethanol gas. The mortadella was made from the meat of animals that were injected with hormones. These animals were raised in places that make a person feel sick because of the filth. Personally, Valia explained she had no desire to eat such food. Her father knows one of the owners who told him that the profit of the pizza restaurant is good because the cost of the raw materials used for making pizza is very low. That girl didn't have dinner that day. Oh my God. Okay, so back to what I was originally saying in the beginning of this video. Let's be careful of, I don't even know what to say. I feel like it's becoming a little bit dogmatic. I feel as though there's some shame and it's just like, man, I ate some pizza last night with my boyfriend and it was pretty damn good and I enjoyed myself. And this morning I wake up feeling like $1,000,000. I have a ton of energy and I kind of don't need this crap. I kind of don't need this crap. Do you need this crap? I'm surprised if somebody's even watching it this far, to be honest. I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts on this. 3, I see everything clearly. I understand everything accurately and display everything clearly. I am free, calm, and confident in myself. I'm not sure exactly where that came from, but let's just roll with this. 4, from a reader. I understood transurfing and immediately followed it, but I couldn't accept your posts about live food and live water because I wasn't ready to accept them. I was searching like a maniac for something and for the meaning of all this. I was attracted to the teachings despite their differences and fell in love with them. Then some minor tragedies occurred in my life. At that point, I bought the book the Transurfing book and read it quickly, but I couldn't get a grasp on it because I suddenly found myself in the Maldives Islands. I don't know what happened to me there, but I came home with a completely different personality. 9 months have passed, and during these months, I only ate natural food. And I have since added linseed oil, selenium oil, and flower nectar to the list of things I eat. Also, I only drink herbal infusions. I also stopped using manufactured ornamental materials and switched to using natural materials and plant juices. Now I look so gorgeous and can say with complete satisfaction about myself that the older I get, the younger I look. Okay, great. 5, Vadim Zeland says, in my world, no one cares about transurfing, and in my house, the word transurfing is never used. There is no one interested in the subject of natural nutrition. Can you imagine this? But all this does not cause me any harm in my relations. Why? Because I do not impose my visions on others in any way. Also, I don't take the initiative to talk about it unless someone asks me. I actually am the same in my personal life. I don't offer anyone transurfing anything for any reason ever. If somebody asks me something, I'll respond, but otherwise it's kind of just like my own private knowledge and world, you know? I do the same with nutrition. I can share with everyone at the table. They choose to eat meat and drink alcohol while at the same time, my plates and glasses are completely different. If other people want to have meat and alcohol, would this be a reason to cut ties with them? I know that there are many people who are like me, who are loyal to their inclinations and desires and stick to them, and at the same time, they do not share this with their relatives and acquaintances. Here you can apply the first transurfing principle: allow yourself to be yourself and allow others to be others. If you do not allow yourself to be yourself, others will not allow you to be who you are. Do you understand the meaning of what was said here? And this is a very valuable point and very, very true. Just like chill. If you can chill, allow others to be them, allow yourself to be you, others won't come at you. You know, it's kind of just like to each his own. The more you can practice that, the easier your reality gets. For sure. 6, when you abstain from eating meat, drinking alcohol, smoking, and narcotic substances, don't be surprised because meat is a strong drug. You are moving into the range of high vibrations. You can stop communicating with old friends and thus lose connection to them. If a person abstains from taking drugs, for example, they will have nothing left to do with their former addicted acquaintances. If you stop drinking, it won't be fun to hang out with people who drink. But if you change and at the same time remain flexible and adhere to the transurfing first principle, your acquaintances will accept you as you are and you will accept them as they are. Either way, you will have a lot in common. My friends with whom I used to party and drink a lot are still my friends even after I stopped drinking. And this is despite the great difference between my meals and theirs. As for my friends who continue to drink alcohol, a number of them have died. As for the others, their appearance is pitiful. They suffer from many health problems and their lives are unstable. In your case, you either apply the first principle of transurfing to preserve your environment or your environment simply no longer suits you. Relationships that end because of diet are relationships that must be considered. Are they healthy or mandatory? 7, ready meals or supermarket meals are appealing but very harmful and addictive. 8, the policy of coercion regarding the diet must be completely stopped. I agree, Vadim. The best we can offer here is to set ourselves as a positive example. 9, allow yourself to be yourself and allow others to be others. 10, do not argue with anyone. Do not impose anything on anyone, and do not try to explain anything to anyone. Don't try to get others to believe in what you believe, but look for someone who already believes in what you believe. Without taking into account the preference for natural nutrition, I invite you to deal with this issue with caution and knowledge. Do not rush into illusions and consider what can be prepared for you. I myself adhere to a moderate position on this issue. My two main principles are harmony and gradualness. But the unfortunate thing here is that among the proponents of the natural diet, there are those to whom this saying applies. If you force a fool to pray, he will break his forehead. By this, I do not refer to the message that I have outlined here, only generally speaking. So thanks to everyone that did this: Mohil, Bashir, Teodora, Tirza, Abdigafor. You know, he's definitely right in that last stuff, but I feel as though and this may be translation issues going on, but I feel as though he's definitely leaning hard on following the raw diet, and at the same time, he's saying allow yourself to be you and allow others to be themselves. And I, definitely allow others to be themselves, absolutely. But in these teachings now, allow yourself to be you. Don't hold any guilt or shame if you're eating cooked food, or if you like pizza, or even if you like meals from the grocery store. It's like, if it works for you, don't regard any other information, period. If it's not working for you, then take what you need from knowledge like such as this, leave what you don't, find what is working for you, but definitely don't feel compelled to have to get involved in dogmatic crap, and I'm gonna try to end this video before I say something really, aggressive here. But let's remain individuals and focus on our individuality, what works for us, taking what we need, leaving what we don't, and not getting involved in systems that are created by pendulums that are asking us to adhere to dogma, period. Period. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video at that. Curious to hear your thoughts and your comments. Please, everyone, let's have a conversation about it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.